Hey everybody, this is the one and only Mr. LP Steven Sykes. We're going live talking about the session with the president. I'm about to unmute this in a second, and I'm here with Miss Walston. Hello, and a couple of our other people are going to join with us in a second and things. So we're looking forward to have comments to join in on the watch party.
I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think is more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. We can never forget that. And I never have. I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come. America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy? In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that? Does character in public life still matter? I believe I know the answer to these questions because I know you, the American people. And I know this, we are a great nation because we are good people. When you elected me to this office, I promised to always level with you, to tell you the truth. And the truth, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much, a cause of American democracy itself, must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And that time and place is now. Over the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president. That means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families, grow our economy. I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights, from the right to vote to the right to choose.
Can you hear, Annika?
I'll keep calling out hate and extremism. Make it clear there is no place in America for political violence or any violence ever, period. I'm going to keep speaking out to protect our kids from gun violence. Our planet from climate crisis is the existential threat. And I will keep fighting for my cancer moonshot so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it. I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform because this is critical to our democracy, Supreme Court reform. You know, I will keep working to ensure America remains strong, secure, and the leader of the free world. I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations.
We're in active wars.
Taking over
Ukraine. I thought we were in active wars.
Doing more damage. Yeah. We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history. I'll keep doing the same for our allies in the Pacific. You know, when I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore. And I'm going to keep working to end the war in Gaza, bring home all the hostages, and bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war.
The war on Gaza.
We're also working around the clock to bring home Americans being unjustly detained all around the world. You know, we've come so far since my inauguration. On that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities. Peril and possibilities.
Sounds tired.
We're in the grip of the war. We were in the grip of the worst pandemic in the century, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. But we came together as Americans. We got through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure. Today, we have the strongest economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs, a record. Wages are up. Inflation continues to come down. The racial wealth gap is the lowest it's been in 20 years. We're literally rebuilding our entire nation, urban, suburban, rural, and tribal communities. Manufacturing has come back to America. We're leading the world again in chips and science and innovation. We finally beat Big Pharma after all these years to lower the cost of prescription drugs for seniors. And I'm going to keep fighting to make sure we lower the cost for everyone, not just seniors. More people have health care today in America than ever before. And I signed one of the most significant laws helping millions of veterans and their families who are exposed to toxic materials. You know, most significant climate law ever in the history of the world. The first major gun safety law in 30 years. And today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office. I've kept my commitment to appoint the first Black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I also kept my commitment to have an administration that looks like America and be a president for all Americans.
Yemen,
that's what I've done.
Somalia.
I ran for
Iraq,
president 4 years ago because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake. The very nature of who we are was at stake. And that's still the case. America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We've never fully lived up to it, to this sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now. In just a few months, the American people will choose the course of America's future. I made my choice. I've made my views known. I would like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country. Now the choice is up to you, the American people. When you make that choice, remember the words of Benjamin Franklin hanging on my wall here in the Oval Office, alongside the busts of Dr. King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. When Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders have given America a monarchy or republic, Franklin's response was, a republic, if you can keep it. A republic, if you can keep it. Whether we keep our republic is now in your hands. My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America. We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things.
We have Mr. Cut.
I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others.
Right here.
I've been blessed
Good
a
evening.
million times in return.
Good evening, family.
The love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. You just have to keep faith, keep the faith. And remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together, preserve our democracy. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you.
President Biden saying the idea of America lies in your hands in a speech tonight.
I expected that to be longer than that.
I did not. I didn't think he would be able to do a longer. But I think it was sufficient. I would not have kept him out there longer than these 20 minutes.
Okay.
Well, it was sufficient, but it wasn't convincing to me.
Yeah, that sounded like he barely was in 10 minutes. 10 minutes in.
It just wasn't convincing to me. And I think that the Democratic Party has got some major stuff they got to fix.
What the thing about it is that he needs, obviously I understand he's tired. He just got out of COVID. So I'm, the two major times that he's with globally, he had a cold, and then COVID happens to millions of us. But I would have not, I know you needed to get something out there immediately soon. I would have waited till one more. What would have been a harm to give him another week till next Monday or Tuesday to do it? I don't see the need to rush him out all the time to get something going on out there, knowing that he's not in the best shape possible to do this. And
well, when you think about it, Brother Stevens, it's a catch-22 because the DNC, we're looking at a little over 100 days as far as the nomination. So he had to get out there right away. He had to. He had no choice.
I don't think he actually had a choice either, because, like he said, this is immediate. This is the last. This would be the last hurrah for him. He did not look well, so I don't know how much he was going to be any different from tonight and from a week from now. So it's been declining, though.
Obviously, I do believe he has Parkinson's. I do believe, you have to look at some of the things focusing on him. We got out the war, and I don't think no matter who's president, it was always going to be messy, because we didn't do, you have to understand the mindset of certain people. They're just not a group that's willing to fight. You spend 20 years, 10 years or however long trying to train, and they still can't do it. At some point you got to get out. And you can't make it USA part 2. And you should have, maybe have more provisions of taking people out and have it straight and then just go from there. But, you don't want to see nobody go out like that the way he did, whether he's pushed out, whether he's encouraged out, whatever. You do see the energy of the base. Will it be enough to right the ship? We don't know. The crazy thing about it is that we're seeing how disorganized and they're rallying to get everything, coalesce all the information together, and people. Let's not forget the other side. Not too long ago, they keep going through House speakers of the House, and the crazy thing, the gentleman before, you got mad at him for actually trying to do, he was a crazy Republican, but when he got to be speaker, he actually tried to do his job and negotiate deals and work on both sides and things, shockingly, and then you get rid of him. it's hard enough to get him in, and then you got rid of him because he worked out a deal with the border control. He worked out the deal on the economy and the budget, and you mad at him, and you got rid of him. And just the silliness. And then they're all about to go on vacation Friday for 6 weeks and still not pass a bunch of bills and things and keep kicking it off till another week or, massive where people don't get paid again. And, we shouldn't be allowing. Those are the type of things that we need to also be aware of that the general public don't understand. The end of the business year is the end of September. So there's a lot that's messed up. And we need to do a better job of being aware and not always keep relying on the news or someone else to tell us, we have to do our job and our information and research. And that's just not what's being done. And things. Do you think, do you think he covered everything? Or what did you mentioned that it was not enough. What do you think is missing?
I think he could have been a bit more specific as far as what he did provide, what he's done as far as policies when it came to the country and the Black community. But it wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Okay. Can you repeat that again? You said that
when he was elected president, he said he had Black people's back. Let's call it for what it is. Joe Biden didn't have Black people's back. He just didn't.
What does Joe Biden having Black people's back look like? Because again, Joe Biden is the president of the United States. So I'm trying to figure out, because I understand that there's a division in your belief with Joe Biden. I just want to know what type of back he was supposed to have for Black people.
Joe Biden comes to Black people when he needs them.
So what about his cabinet? What about the people he elected? What about the things that he has done overall?
All the people.
So what about his track record right now?
His Joe Biden track record in reality,
right now,
in reality, his track record sucks.
I'm talking about right now. So tell me what
I'm telling you right now. His track record sucks.
Elaborate, please.
The way I'm going to elaborate is this. When he got elected president, he said he had Black people's back. What policies has he specifically put in place for Black people?
What does a Black policy look like? Does it look like a Black job?
We're not talking about Black job. Let's not go down that road, man. Come on.
I'm just asking because you keep saying
we're not talking about a Black job. What I'm saying is that what have the Biden administration done for the Black community specifically? And Kamala Harris has already made it clear that she's not going to do anything specifically for Blacks.
What specifically are we looking for? Is what my concern is.
Okay. Let me tell you what we're looking for. Let me tell you what we're looking for. We're looking for police reform. We're looking for reparations.
So
we're looking for
reparations.
We're looking for better schools. Why is it when it comes to Black people, there's an issue when it comes to us wanting certain things?
I don't think there's an issue when okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me add a little bit context to all of this for both sides here. There's when there was issues for when Trump got in, there was issues for Asian Americans and things and Europeans and there was Asian attacks against Asians.
Right. Is there now an Asian bill?
Yeah. Right. So what happened is that there were specific bills out to protection for the gay community. There was bills. They just recently, not too long ago, passed one of the criminal bills protecting African Americans. But what happened is that when there were bills, and it's created animosity. And in my opinion, we shouldn't go after the other cultures. We should look at the top in terms of administration, regardless who's in office. They're all at fault. That there were bills and things that would go on. So one of the three of the major things was like economic disparities. So there were money, they did give some money to HBCUs, but there was not broader economic reforms in terms of help closing the wealth gap for Black-owned businesses. There was criminal justice reforms that, we still missing throughout the thing. There's not a national separate accounting ability bills for each city and states and counties have different police department, independent groups to monitor police departments. We don't have a national record that's keeping, let's say, prevent officers from jumping from district to district away.
Absolutely correct.
There are voting rights. So now there's still some restrictive voting laws in the things. There was the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act that's with the National Urban League. We still have problems of housing where the gentrification that was supposed to be protecting people of color, Black and brown things, and then also visibility, outreach. And now some of this stuff is not just on him. Now it's going to be him because he's a head, but now, and for some of the comments that I've seen is like, okay, you put Kamala Harris, okay, yeah, you got her in, but you shut her down for the most part. You didn't, you clapped her behind the scenes, and now you want to throw her back out there at need. And is not clear, or, obviously she just started running, but the question is going to be, is it her policies, or are we just doing an extension of Biden's, which in some feels a extension of Obama's? So
Kamala Harris is not fit to be a president of the United States. She's not. All you have to look at her back record. And this is the deal. Many Black women will dispute this, not based on her history, based on the fact that when she decides to be Black, she's Black, a Black woman.
Oh, okay. So are you speaking for Black women? Because
I'm speaking.
What I don't understand is that why we don't.
I'm speaking for the Black community.
Okay, so
Black women for the most part are speaking for Black women.
Okay.
Black men, and let me tell you what's going to happen. Black men are going to leave the Democratic Party because they know that Black women are not looking at Kamala Harris' credentials, what she's done in the community and how she's hurt the community. They just want her in there because she's a Black woman.
Are you talking about right now? Because I'm thinking that people probably want her in there because they don't want what's on the other side. And so if she's not fit to be president, I'm sure we're not saying that Donald Trump is.
Okay, what I'm saying is this. You have Black men and you have MAGA men and women. They're coming together and they're saying they don't want a Kamala Harris and they don't want this power structure that's going on in the Democratic Party. Because in reality, the Democratic Party don't care about the Black community. They don't care. What has Kamala Harris proposed as far as policy? I'm talking about actual, real policy pertaining to the Black community, not Black, brown, and yellow, but to Black people.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure, but what I do know,
that's my point.
Right, but it does not mean I don't know her history. What I'm saying to you in this moment right now, I hear you, but in this moment right now, our options are Kamala or Trump. And what I'm saying is, I don't give a damn about the hierarchy. I'm saying that I'm going to be voting for the person that is going to do a better job than the fellow. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of Black men. We ain't doing Kamala.
You cannot possibly be speaking to a lot of Black men with that notion. Okay,
years ago,
you're dividing the
years
Black.
ago, she didn't.
You're saying women on one side, men on the Republican side. That's basically what you're saying.
Years ago,
hold on.
she didn't claim to
We're
be
not
black.
in the year.
Now
We're in
she's
the year
black.
of our Lord 2024. That's
Hold
the
on.
year we're in.
Okay, hold on, cut. I hear you. Let her finish. I want everybody to get their sentences in and things, so not everybody cross talking. First off, hello, Swell Silk. How you doing, Queen? Can you hear? Okay, hopefully she'll hear us jump in.
Good evening, everybody.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Queen.
Good evening.
So the question, just to catch you up, Silk, the question on the board is that Cut does not feel Kamala has qualified, and he feel in speaking within his circle and expanding that a lot of black men are not feeling him, and Annika's feeling is that yes, no, maybe so. The issue is that either way is what we got versus Trump. Annika, could you fill in where that is for the moment?
I'm simply saying at this point, I understand policy. I understand the needs of black people. I understand everything that we've been discussing. However, we have to be honest with ourselves. What we are doing right now is determining what our future looks like in 2024. I'm not a Trump supporter. I will never be a Trump supporter. But when I'm saying you choose whomever you want to vote for, right now, I'm going to vote for Kamala because she's the better option than Trump. That's just my stance. Now, if she was in a race with someone else, if she was doing something else, maybe I would look at her policy. As of right now, she has a better stance and she's more poised to run this country than Donald Trump.
Well, let me ask you, well, before I go to my next question, Silk, did you want to jump in on that? Silk? Okay. She'll probably in a dead spot. But I'm sorry, say it again, ma'am. Okay. The second question I want to ask him on that is, do you believe that we should have had
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry. I don't know. It's raining, so I apologize for delay. I absolutely agree with the queen that just spoke all the way around. But just to even go a little deeper, because I keep hearing that she's not equipped, that she's not able, and I honestly believe that if she had a penis, this wouldn't even be a discussion. The bottom line is like this: if we're saying she's not equipped,
bullshit.
We're saying she's not equipped. And she, let me finish. Let me just finish, because if she wasn't equipped,
it's not about
what made Trump equipped for this position.
It's not about a
It's just what made Trump qualify for this position. My question again,
this is why
I totally believe that. I said that may be your opinion, but I gave my opinion, and my opinion is if she had a penis, it would not be an issue.
Hold on, Ron, let her finish her sentence, and I'll come straight to you.
This had nothing to do with penises and vaginas.
The fact that that's my opinion. That's my opinion, and that's not going to change. The other thing is about it is that we keep hearing it's not equipped, but I didn't see all of these black men coming forward talking about Trump. What is the equipment that Trump has to be the president of the United States? All of his companies went bankrupt, every single one of them. He has lawsuits out of the yin yang before he was even president.
Trump, Ice Cube approached Biden. Trump decided to meet with Ice Cube. Trump said, after we win the election, we'll meet with you. He never did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I'm confused.
Okay, well, the question on the board, sir, what she's asking, and if I'm saying it incorrectly, so please correct me. The thing is, so what makes, although we feel that some feel that Kamala is not qualified, and we're asking maybe a Robin to jump into Batman suit in this situation, but what makes her is she any more qualified or less qualified than Trump? And then because of all the things that he done before he got into office, and then all these things.
I think that neither are qualified because that's where we are in this country right now. Trump isn't really qualified, but Kamala isn't qualified either. She's not qualified. She ain't qualified. Kamala Harris is not qualified to be the president of the United States. We already know that she spread her legs throughout her career to get what she wants to be.
Time out.
Let me finish. Please
yes,
let me finish.
Let
me finish.
I think that is such bullshit.
We already know that's what she did. That's what she did. We also know that she incarcerated many black men and women in California. We know this. These are facts. These are facts. This is another thing. This is another thing. Kamala Harris said herself, she's not
randomly pick people.
She is not going to just do something for black people specifically. So she don't really identify as black. The problem is a lot of you black women, you modern black women, fall in line with her. Y'all fall in line with her because bullshit. She comes across as a black woman, and y'all want to see the first black woman as president of the United States. It's obvious.
Okay, what's obvious is that we're not focusing on actually what we were talking about. As of right now, in this climate, as in 2024, in November, the two options that we have, tell me which one is the better option.
Honestly,
that's what I want to know.
I don't like Trump, and I don't like Kamala.
Okay, so again, with the two options that we have,
can I finish? I don't like Trump, and I don't like Kamala. But when it comes to the options, I sure hell would do with a Trump bet than the Kamala.
And that's perfect. So now that answers other questions. So here's the other thing. Going back to the other queen, when she made the statement that this wouldn't have mattered if she had a penis. Let me tell you how that would work.
Here we go again.
If we
with the penis.
Here's what's very interesting is that you want the respect for people to listen to you. Now I've listened to your banter. Will you allow me to speak?
Go ahead.
Okay. So this could be a different conversation if the Republican Party had picked Nikki Haley. That's somebody a little bit more qualified than Trump. So you tell me between those two women, who would you be picking? Because then I'm going to think you just have a problem with women.
First of all, if you follow my work, you follow my cartoons, and you follow me over the years, I don't have a problem with women, particularly black women.
But the question's not answered.
Let me ask you this first.
I'm not answering the question with the question.
If you follow my work, do I have a problem with women?
I don't follow your work, so I don't know that answer. So can I get a choice between the two?
Okay.
Because you offended two black women on the stage.
First of all, I don't like Nikki Haley.
Okay.
And I don't like Kamala Harris.
Okay. So tell me, who do you want to be president?
My choice would be the couch.
The couch?
My choice would be the couch.
So the couch is running the country because that's exactly what it's looking like.
Well, that's what's going to have to be. Because I don't
that's
support
not
Nikki
even logical.
Haley,
and I am not going to entertain things that are illogical.
And I support Kamala Harris.
Okay. So when you say the couch, you mean that you're just going to sit on the couch and not vote?
What I'm going to do, I will vote. I will vote on local issues.
Okay.
For the general election.
This general nonsense, I will not vote.
And I think that's good for the American people.
I would rather vote on local issues affecting my community versus what's going on in national.
Well, can I? And I mean, I don't know your work, but can I just ask what it is you do for the black community? Because I just want to know.
Well, Stephen, you may have to address that. Because if you,
I'm just asking, I'm not insulting. I just want to know because
I tell you what. Go to Google and type in Ron Bryant cutting edge cartoons. I've been a political cartoonist for 30 years in supporting the black community in over 75 newspapers. So don't tell me
that's
what I
fine.
have not done for the
I
black
didn't say you
community.
didn't, and so I don't know why you're getting upset. What I'm asking you is,
hold on.
Mr. LP, can I clarify something? Because there was a statement that was made that needs clarification. Okay, I don't pretend to represent all black women. I can only speak about this black woman. Okay, and this black woman is not on the Camilla bandwagon strictly because she's a black woman. I'm on this Camilla bandwagon because out of the two options that we have, she is the best choice. She already has political experience. Okay, whether it be perfect, absolutely not, but we have a rogue that was in office and he showed us exactly who he was and what he did, and he made us the laughing stock where even other countries don't even allow him to go to. So when it comes down to this black woman, I have to think logical, not about maybe shoulda, woulda, coulda. If there's only two options on the ballot, then my option is Kamala. I think the go-to is always where you people and you black women jump on. We heard the same rhetoric when Obama was running for office or whatever. In this country, you're giving an option. You're giving either two, sometimes these are three options, and you have to pick the best option. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. It has nothing to do with her black. But I find it funny that whenever a woman, when Hillary or any other woman talks about running in politics, the go-to for men is about she was on her knees. Me personally, I don't care how many dicks she sucked to get where she was, because it ain't no different than half of the bimbos that done ran through the White House and done
Tell
slept
me
with half
about
of
her
the
policies. Tell me
politicians.
about her
Hold on,
policies.
let me finish. Okay, then we always hear about she locked people. She wasn't randomly walking down the street picking black men to lock them up. If you did a crime, then your ass got locked up. Now, I agree with you that some of the sentencing that she gave to people may have been out of order and may have been excessive. I totally agree with you that. But if your ass didn't do crime, you wouldn't have been introduced to her in the first place. We heard the same excuse about Biden. There is no perfect politician. Period.
Okay.
There is none of them that walk on water. But at the end of the day, we got two choices right now. And my choice is the one that is going to logically think of what's in the best interest for this country.
So
Not
tell
themselves.
me, what has she done in 3.5 years? Tell me.
I can send you a whole list of things that she's done in 3.5 years.
Give me something.
Actually, Mr. LP, I send it to you. The Medicaid expansion that she's done, the foreign policy that she's done, the exposure
was
of
done during the Obama administration to become Obamacare.
You just keep,
what else has she done?
What are you talking about?
You keep asking me.
What I'm saying is, when it comes to black people, what has she done? I'm just asking. Tell me.
Name me something that any of them done for black people.
Okay.
What has any of them done for black people? What has Trump done for black people?
You're making my point. What has
okay, so then we're not gonna vote for the thing.
What has Kamala Harris done?
I can tell you.
I'm just asking a straightforward question. Logically, what has she done specifically for black people in the past 3.5 years?
I can tell you that if we don't want to hear policy or whatever, I'll give you the same answer that I gave people when they asked me. Hold on, you don't let you ask a question, but you never let a person finish.
All I'm asking
I can tell you my answer is the same answer that I gave people about Obama. She represented. You didn't hear no scandal and stuff about her. She don't have felony charges brought up on her. Isn't that enough?
Let's forget Obama. All I'm asking is, what has Kamala Harris done as vice president in the past 3.5 years for black people? That's all I'm asking.
I think I am very.
I get. I'm driving, Mr. LP. Can you pull up the list that I posted? Mr. LP, I'm driving, but can you pull up the list I posted? A 2-page list of everything that she's done since she's been in office.
Okay.
I'm not talking about everything she's done. I'm not saying what she's done, but for
You're
black.
you're talking for black people, and I
Yes,
just
I'm talking for
black people are not the only people here. We're supposed to collectively be
that's
working
the
as
problem.
a
That's
country.
the problem. The problem with modern black women, you're focused on brown, yellow, and everybody else. I'm focused on my people.
Okay, your people are not the only people here.
No,
and if we want to be
my
technical,
people are
everybody
my
should
black
be your people.
My people are my black people.
Your people, black people.
Malcolm X was focused on black people.
Right.
Martin
And
Luther
then when he
King was
went to
focused
Mecca,
on
he came
black
back and began to
people.
focus on all
We're
people.
talking about
So let's
black
not bring
people.
Malcolm X into this.
What has Kamala Harris done for black people?
Okay, hold on. I need all three of y'all to hold on for a second. Okay, please hold on. Okay, first let me coalesce and bring this thing together. A little bit of order. First, I know, and Ron, I know you have some valid points and some questions, but I need to make sure everybody speaks and let the lady speak. And when they're answering, everybody jumps in. The second thing is I wanted to make sure that before, when Ms. Walston was asking about what now, and I want to take ownership. I did not everybody is familiar with everybody's past or the background, what have you. So I did not educate her on who you were for the judge. So when she said she didn't know what you'd done. She wasn't questioning what you've done for black people. She just wasn't aware. So when she asked that, that's what she was trying to do. So I didn't want to I didn't clarify that when that question came up. So that's on me. Now, now to answer the questions before, there were two major questions that y'all are asked, and I want to make sure because I have all this information. Now, bear in mind, from 2011 to 2016, she was an attorney general. Now, also, California is the largest state. So it's going to think about this when you hear these numbers. 44,172 black offenders and 83,370 Hispanic people were sent to prison. Now, doing 127,542 black Hispanics overall were incarcerated in her time. Now, to both your points, all three of your points, some of these things were excessive. Now, at the same time, we all know from the last 30 years, California has been extremely rough on people of crime. So that's the issue. Now, and then you have the tougher stance on crime. You have the 3 strikes law, people, guns, what have you. So that's a fault. Now, also at the same time, there's been the same amount of number of white people. So I want to make sure that's out there. Now, because there's a high number of us and there's so little of us, the percentages are skewed. That's one. Now, to answer the second question is about what she has done and contributing towards black people specifically. There was the rescue plan that gave more money to lower income, which mostly incorporated us for getting those small businesses. When if you remember, we were slowly rolling out the number of how many people and all this other stuff. Once Biden got in, many of the businesses of color didn't get their money as fast. She correlated that. She focused it.
Color.
Right, we were people, right, but yes, people of color, but now it's specifically for blacks. Now, as far as there is a background things. There's also the voting rights and criminal justice reform. She's been pushing the John Lewis Act and also, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and Freedom to Vote Act, which was specifically towards black people in terms of criminal justice reform, reducing incarceration rates, and also getting our voting rights back in a number of places. That was it. And also the Medicaid thing and expansion, that did not, to be fair, there was an expansion plan, but it did not include a lot of the money for women of color, especially that was out there not getting the medication needed. And you saw an increase of black women dying, black women not getting prenatal care. So when she fought there, and now 46 out of 50 states now have access, black women have more access to prenatal care, pregnancy, postpartum, and also increased it to where the stay is not just 2 months, federally mandated pushed out to a whole year. So those were some things specifically, more importantly, to Black women, but specifically that was.
But does it state that it was specifically for Black people?
Well, I just outlined specifically for a Black in this situation, the voting rights and the Medicaid expansion that specifically helped a lot of Black women.
No, I understand that, but my question is, was that bill made for specifically Black people?
The John Lewis voting rights, I believe so, yes. And then also the Medicaid expansion, that one, it was targeted. It was specifically no, but it was targeted more importantly to Black women because we were the ones that were dying the most. She outlined that was outlined. And I'm sorry, let me also say it was for Black and Indigenous and women as well. But if you want it, as there's not going to, and I understand the issue and what we outlined before, and I don't know if you missed my words, Raw Silk. The fact of the matter is, when there was bills, there's always a bill made specifically towards an ethnic group or a culture. When it came to the gays or LGBT community, when there's a bill towards specifically Asians, when Trump got in office, there was a bill to help protect them, but then it took forever and a day to get the bills for Black people. So, and then we just got more money recently for Black colleges. But then now there's not enough money for expansion after the fact when there are for schools, when they leave school. Yes, those are some issues there. But as far as an overall one specific bill, no. The crime bill for police, that's going to need, if we're going to sit there and say specifically stop Black killing, that's not going to happen. But if it's going to be a bill to say, hey, we need to have a federal list, now that's going to help everybody, but it's specifically will help Black people. So then these officers are not jumping from precinct to precinct to precinct, which we just had with Massey, and then now he's killing people, and that's just one that we know national.
So Stephen, why is it that we can get a Asian hate crime bill?
Mm-hmm.
And we could get a Jewish hate crime bill, but we can't get a anti-Black crime bill?
We do have one now that was just passed couple of years ago, but now it should not have taken as long.
Is it law?
Yes. Let me get that bill up. I'm sorry. Let me get that.
Is it law or a bill?
I believe that was I just had that up too, and I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody. That was Stop Hate Crime Act of 2023. There was, I'm trying to find the name. There was the Stop Hate Crimes Act. And okay, he signed it. That's right. Duh. I'm so sorry. Lord, forgive me, everybody. I know this one. The Emmett Till bill. That is signed. That is signed in law that Biden did back in March of 2 years ago.
That's an anti-lynching bill, correct?
Yes, but also it's not just lynching, but it's just basically overall hate crime.
Yes. Okay, that's hate crime for anybody, right?
It's the Emmett Till bill. So it was
based
off of a Black crime, bill, right?
Just like affirmative action. Affirmative action apparently, unfortunately, applies to everybody, right?
Right. So you're saying that the Emmett Till bill would not help the Black community, or did you need to say specifically?
I did not say it would not help the Black community, but what I'm asking for.
I think the point that he's trying to make is that there's nothing that's specifically out there geared
available specifically
so he wants a bill that says for Black people, we are going to ABCD.
Man, correct? This is what I'm
saying.
Exactly. Y'all.
Well, I see what you're saying, Ron.
All I'm saying is this. I'm not saying that there aren't bills and laws that doesn't benefit everybody. All I'm saying is, can you give me specific bills that is for specifically Black people?
Okay, I'll be fair to you. That if that's the case, nobody should be president because nobody's doing anything
nobody
for
should
Black
be
people.
president.
Nobody's doing anything for Black people. So since you want to segregate us
that's
from everybody else, because that's what you
cop-out.
You want us to be
That's a
segregated in a bill.
I mean,
right?
that's what I'm saying. We get to this point.
So much time trying to get Kamala Harris as the president when we know there's not going to be that bill. There's not going to be that law.
So what you're saying is,
Well, why did we not hold everybody accountable?
Say again?
Like we don't have, with all of the presidents, we're up to 40, going on 46 presidents, and not near one of them created a bill specifically for Black people. So how does this fall in her door?
What I'm trying to get you all to understand is this. There's a division among the Black community now. The younger community understand that, hey, we need specific bills for us. The same way the Asians, the Jews, the LGBTQ, the Latinos have specific bills that's designed for them. We need bills for us. That's all I'm saying.
And I think that's
I get that. But that's not nothing new. We've been saying that forever.
For years, yes.
Okay, now hold on.
We've been saying that for years. But to go back, the problem is,
I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Is that
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris because she's a fake Black woman. I'm not
okay, well, that's your opinion. But what I'm saying is,
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris because she's a fake Black woman. I'm not doing that.
She's a fake Black woman.
She's a fake Black woman. And I'm not.
That sounds so
Many Black men are not going to vote for Kamala Harris. I know this because I talked to them.
Okay, and why are they not voting for her?
Because of modern Black women telling Black men to fall in line and do what, hey, y'all follow line.
I would love to know. So what is a modern Black woman and who are they hanging with and who are they telling their men? Well, explain that to me because it just you walked into.
Hold on, I'm gonna give you the information. I'm gonna give y'all the information.
This is what I do know. As long as
I want to hear the answer because we keep asking questions without getting no answer.
Kamala Harris will not be president.
Hold on. Let me give you two things for y'all ask. Okay. First off, there were specific bills may not have been as effective as we all would want, but they're okay. The Emmett Till bill, anti-lynching, is specifically in the wording. It says, violence towards historically Black Americans. George Floyd Justice Policing Act, the John Lewis. The John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act.
Are they laws?
Yes.
Can he finish so we can all hear them? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, these are, I'm telling you, are laws. Okay, the Emmett Till, the George Floyd Policing Act, the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Okay, it is specifically for the voting rights restoration and racial discrimination in voting practices. The African American History Education Act, the Minority Business Development Act, the HBCU Funding Act. These are actual laws. Okay, now they're not. Have they been as impactful? No, but there are. The second thing is now, to your point, to give context to what Ron is saying. So a lot of Black men are not feeling her because they disagree on a lot of the policies that she had in California supporting the things. A lot of them don't like, they had concerns about her. They feel like sort of like J-Lo, that she basically she finds herself associating more with Black people when it comes to show up, but any other time she's not around. They also feel
the woman is at AKA. Okay, I mean, come on, give me a break. I'm trying to ask the question of what specifically are Black men having a problem, because we keep hearing about this modern Black woman. Or I'm 61 years old.
Oh no, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm just reading the information. No,
She may have
I'm just
not done, hold on,
reading.
Stephen. She may not have done her job effectively. I agree with him that there's some of the sentences were way out of proportion, but we keep forgetting she didn't randomly go pick black men off the street. If they wasn't doing crime, they wouldn't have came before. Not only that, she was the lead prosecutor. There was other people that they had to go through. She wasn't the person handing down sentences. Come on, y'all. Like, seriously,
men are committing crimes. This is the problem. It's the
this
same
sounds like
thing.
some chauvinistic
This is
bullshit.
the same thing with Joe Biden in the 1994 crime bill.
But
Those were black
let's
men.
be fair.
And
She
this is
did
the
her
reason-
job.
and this, what she
That
just
was
said,
her position, and I'm trying to figure out why it's an issue when a
this
black
is the
woman is
reason
doing
why
her job.
black men. This is the reason why black men are leaving the Democratic Party.
Let's say some black men. Let's not say
no,
all black men.
I'm saying
Some black men.
Trust me.
Huh?
Many black men. Many black
Can
men.
we be fair with some?
All the
I've got
black
like
men
50
I know,
in the house
and
that
I know
are
a lot of
voting
black
Republican.
men. I know a lot of brothers. They are leaving the Democratic Party.
Okay, so that's fine, but leaving the Democratic Party has nothing to do with voting all the time.
Bullshit.
Okay.
I don't agree. I understand why I don't agree. First, I was just reading the information that I'm seeing, just seeing the list of complaints. I have when I hear Aurelio, I hear a lot of men having expressing the same issues that Ron has. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it.
It's true.
I don't agree with it. I've gotten a lot of messaging online about it all over, some in the middle. I feel that I feel overall that this country is not ready for a woman leader because there's still so much chauvinistic aspects to this and things. Whether I'm still trying to coalesce why or come to understanding why her whether she slept around or not or whatever. I'm trying to understand when there's behind and knowing for a fact, okay, as a guy that's worked in the government, so many of these politicians left and right with their aides or the pages, pregnancy left and right, sleeping around, and to get information or to move up. What will be the difference between? I'm not saying it's right on either side, but if we're laying the cards out, what would be the difference from politician A, male from Texas, that's done it from wherever, while she may have done it or what have you, and what would be the difference? It's a common practice that both men and women are doing it, but then when it's a man doing it, it's passed over, and clearly because we're seeing it with Trump, this country apparently don't have a problem with the porn star using illegal campaign funds, which is illegal, to pay off a porn star. He's raped people. He's molested people, and this country still seems to not care about those things. And so where we have is that where's the moral ground? Are we applying it less to it? So the question is, there's two sides. Are we applying it for more or less for a male to a female, or are we applying it for black and white, or are we just going to apply it in general as the need fits to prove our argument? That's a question that we have to ask individually. Just to be clear.
Unless there is a crime attached to a sexual act, we need to mind our business about people's sexual acts. I don't care what people believe, whether she slept around or not. We don't even know that to be true. That is just that's just hearsay. So we cannot base her record and her ability to be a president on whether or not you know if she slept around. That's not even fair. You wanted to know about policies and things that were put in place. That's what we should be talking about, not her bed stories.
Well, let me ask this to both of you. And I'm sorry, Tracey, dropped off. Ron, here's a question that I want you to answer first, sir, if you don't mind. Would it be better? And I just got this text. Would it be better if, regardless of whether we feel she's qualified or not, whoever feels it this way, she come in and we just have to hold her feet to the fire and hold her accountable as we should do for any office, and look at to say, okay, what can we do locally? Because when we look at what happened with Obama, just for example, for facts, he got in, but our people didn't do nothing in local and state elections and left them hanging. So it would be best to not to prevent that same thing again. Hold her accountable. Okay, we need this. You say you're going to do it, when and where, and then we hold her accountable, because we're not going, unfortunately, there's not many people like the present party that's here. We do our research. We call. I've applied to be in the congressional hearings. I've applied to send messages. I send my letters, what have you. Unfortunately, there's a small amount of us in terms of Black people specifically that's doing that. We'll get a million people will go online. Black people will talk about Game of Thrones. A billion people, Black people, will sit there and talk about Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. But I can't get a fraction of that to say, hey, be aware of this. Let's hold the feet to the fire, regardless of whoever, to get involved and get action. So there's fault there. And I'm not excusing Kamala, Obama, Biden, Trump, whoever. I'm not excusing anybody. But my thing is that would it be better to hold the people's feet to the fire and say, you owe us, you supposed to do this. For example, right now, the policies that's on the books for us in any bill, they're on vacation for 6 to 7 weeks. Some already started, and then it's not coming back. And signing those checks, will affect everybody, but it's specifically those they going on vacation and it's hurting Black people. So would it be better, sir, to again, I'm not saying dismissing Kamala and your issues with that. That's by far I will not. But it's going to take more than her. We need to make sure we have other politicians that's going into the office, that's going to the your state general assemblies, that's going to go to Congress as congressman and woman or senator and say, hey, I need you to hold the feet to the fire. So go from there. Would that be a better solution?
Well, look at it this way. When Biden was going against Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton was a far more experienced candidate. Yes, Secretary of State. She was the first lady. Okay. And when she decided to run for president of the United States, who chose not to vote for her? Let me tell you who chose not to vote
Black
for
people.
her.
A lot of Black people did.
No. It was white women.
White women didn't vote for her because white men didn't support her.
This is like you try to tell Black women, because Black women like to get on the side with these white women. And this is what's going to happen. If they're not going to vote,
I love you, but you sound so chauvinistic until it's ridiculous.
What I'm saying is this: if they're not going to vote for a Hillary Clinton, who is far more experienced than the Kamala Harris, what makes you think that white women are going to vote for Kamala Harris?
Okay, I hear you, but that wasn't the question. I hear you, but that was.
Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
I hear you. Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Hello.
The question. Yes,
that
ma'am.
might his statement may very well be true, but everything has a time and a season. Everything has a time and a season. Okay. Oh, so it might just be that time. We don't know. We won't know until November. I just think that is really one of the things before my call dropped that I just wanted to say is that it comes off very chauvinistic when we always constantly hear that a woman is not ready to run this country when primarily the women are running the country in the first place. Okay, all the way across the board. And we don't never face that truth. That is, let me finish. That is absolutely true when you look at the amount of female governors, the amount of female corporate executives, or whatever. It is 100% true. It is 100% true. The truth may hurt, but the truth is what it is. The truth may hurt, but the truth is what it is.
That I'm saying that women aren't capable of being president. I never said that. I'm looking at the system of
Why
things.
wouldn't a woman be capable of being president?
The democratic system is this. The democratic system is this. If white women are not willing to support Hillary Clinton, they're not going to support Kamala Harris. And this has nothing to do with her ability. Although personally, not because she's a woman, she don't have it. She just ain't got it.
The times have changed, though. There's a
That's what I'm saying.
different time from when Hillary was running.
You're going about times and changes. I'm telling you based on my.
I understand that. What I'm saying is women's rights were not up for grab when Hillary was running. We didn't have to worry about Roe versus Wade being thrown out. We weren't worried about that. We didn't have the justices stacked the way they are right now.
All right.
Now hold on. Now let me give you a couple of facts. Historically, and this is not just white women, but women in general, but specifically with white women, we do all these women rights and marches and all this other stuff. And all due respect and no disrespect to the women on the panel, I call BS on them because when it comes to the voting, they don't. They vote with what their husband. 99%.
They vote with what their husband vote.
Thank you.
Yeah, they vote with their husband. So I call foul on all of that stuff all the time until you tell me different with your vote. Don't come up to me about your voting, your abortion rights, whatever, because a lot of those older ones seem to somehow forget about the coat hanger babies and all the other mess. So I don't want to hear it. And all due respect to women, I know that sounds evil, but it's a fact. The second part about all of this is that in the 4 years from Biden's been out of office for 3.5 years, 21 million people have died off, passed away. So now 33 million people have been eligible to vote. Now the millennials and Gen Zs and what have you. So now that's going to play a role in all of this. Now I would hope, and Ron, because of the history of all elections, you are right. I get it, but what we have to do is educate. Before I get to the original question, what we have to do is educate, because now you have all these women's rights and votes, and if women are going to truly stick together in this thing, it will be knocked out the park, and Trump will get in. Now, unfortunately, we have all these white women that's going to stay with their husbands. See, Black women, Asian women, and Latin women, all different groups, they don't necessarily vote with their husbands like that. We all know that. But now it's the majority of them are white. Now, my original question was, and Silky didn't hear, and I received a good question via text. Would it be rewrite, regardless of whatever you feel with Kamala, would it be better say, okay, now that you're in office, let's not make the same mistakes that we did when Obama got in. Okay, he's in, we didn't do anything local and state. We didn't hold him accountable to certain policies, blah, blah, blah. Now with Kamala here, she gets in. Now, would it be removed for us to make sure we do our part locally and statewide? Apply. We have millions of people of color, especially Black people, that got online and chat on all day long, fights, shot each other over Kendrick Lamar and Drake. But I can't get 1%, 0.5% amount of that to go do what us four here in the panel and anybody that's listening that takes an active effort to say, hey, let's do this. We need to hold your feet to the fire. You said this, what we need to do, and make noise about it. Because see, when there were policies and things where Obama did not do for us, as soon as we said something about it, all four of us got chewed out. Well, okay, let's be real. When there's some things that could have been done. And then we waited till the last year in office to start to go visiting prisons, start doing this. By then you gone and things. So some of these things didn't happen. So now you have this person, whether we feel that she's playing the black card now or not, whatever the case may be, let's focus on getting the right people, because whoever's in office, Trump, this, that, and other, you need support. You need a team. Let's ensure our part that would it be better to ensure our part that we vote the right people to get in here with her, because we don't vote down ballot? Let's be real. And then now we should part. Now I believe I'm with Silk on this party, people over party. But if it's the person that's working with her, not just for the sake of I'm kissing babies for the next 3 months, but you have a history and a record of it, let's focus on that. Now, I do believe right now the questions are being asked. Now, it needs to be respectful, but the questions are being asked. These were your policies. What are you going to do differently? Now, when Hillary came through, she at least answered the question. Now, she just started 48 hours ago, okay? But now the questions need to be asked eventually. These were your policies. Are you going to invoke the same policies in California now on a national level? What are you going to do with the police bill? We just had another shooting. You know, and it's sad Biden stood up more than she did. Now, obviously, he's a president, but what are you doing to specifically change these laws that's specifically addressing Black people? Okay, that's one answer. The second answer is, what are you going to do to maintain them? Because we all see what happens. As soon as they pass, they get deconstructed with the next administration. And then, or they don't get enforcement throughout the state.
Stephen, I think that your points and stuff is well taken. But I have to go back to the statement that the Queen made in the very beginning. Unless something's going to change, we have two options. At this point, I don't care if she tap dances in the rain. Everything she does is going to be better than Trump. Trump cannot get back. I don't understand why people are not taking Project 2025 seriously. I don't understand why they haven't seen how he's aligned governors, including the governor right here in Richmond, that is ready to go Negroes report to the plantation at 7 a.m. Okay? They keep playing with this man. This man is dangerous. It's not an option. He is dangerous. He showed us who he was. This man had people, let us not forget January 6th, where his rhetoric had people storm for the first time the Capitol. Okay, he's already said, if I don't get reelected, it's going to be hell to pay. He has taken every page out of Hitler's playbook. What else does he have to show Americans that, you know, when Ron's talking about Black men being upset about Kamala and everything, I get that. But what Black men that need to be upset is those that got felony records that can't get a job, but a felon is running for the president of the United States. That's what they need to be pissed off about. Because if I had a felony record and I go to apply for anything and you turn me down, I'm going to sue you for discrimination. A convicted felon, a pedophile, a rapist, and a pathological liar is able to run for the president of the United States, and we and other people are arguing about whether Kamala is the best person for the job? Are you kidding me?
Yes, and the disregard for the law, period. I understand we're talking about Black bills and what for Black people, but he has taken the Supreme Court. He has absolutely destroyed the Supreme Court with the people that he has on him. They're making laws to give the president immunity for everything. You've got people tossing out court cases, and there's evidence, not hearsay. We're talking about video. We're talking about pictures. This man said, I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't go to jail. Well, guess what? He can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not go to jail right now. Is that what we want running the country? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter about all these other laws. Do we want him running this country? And do we want his running mate, just in case somebody does shoot him, turning into the new president? That's not what we want as a country. I don't care if you're Black, red, or white. You can't tell me that you want a whole Hitler regime to come in here to this United States of America. And if you do, so be it.
And like I said before, like I said before, I think that Kamala Harris is not qualified to be president. And I think that Donald Trump is not qualified to be president. And this is the problem. I'm not going to vote Kamala Harris because she's so-called Black. I'm not doing that.
She could be Pikachu. We're not talking about color.
I'm not that stupid. I want to know.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever
watched? She could be green for all I care.
Right. But have you ever watched her?
Can I please finish my conversation?
I'm sure you are.
Let me finish. What I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. What are the specific policies that she is presenting to the Black community? Not Black women, not LGBTQ, but the Black community. What are the specific policies that she is actually presenting to Black people to entice me to vote for her? Tell me.
Okay, let me say this. Let's say she's doing nothing. So now that she's doing nothing.
Tell me.
So at the end of the day, your options are nothing and nothing. Which one are you picking?
You're talking emotions. You're talking emotions.
I'm not
asking you a logical question.
Being emotions.
I'm asking you a logical question. Baby,
I'm asking you a logical question. Nonsensical.
I'm asking you a logical
to be respectful.
But you keep asking the question and don't let her finish.
Hold on, Ron. Hold on. Let her finish. Go ahead, Ms. Walton.
I'm done with that. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, we have to make a choice. What I'm asking you, if I agree with you, Kamala's not fit, Trump is not fit. What is best for the country is what I'm asking you. Right now, what is best for our country? A Kamala, a non-colored woman, or Trump, an orange man? You tell me.
You want the answer?
Yes.
This is the answer. It's for Black America to align and come together and ask both candidates and say, what are you doing for the people? Instead of just voting for somebody because they're a Black woman.
Okay, you know what I think? You're saying that maybe Kamala shouldn't even be the Democratic choice. Is that what you're saying?
She's not qualified.
Okay, no, but is that what you're saying? Are you saying she's not even saying?
No, what I'm saying is this: as a collective, as a people, as a Black community, not just Black women. What I'm saying is, as Black men, as leaders, and Black women as leaders, go to both candidates and say, what are you willing to give us when it comes to policy?
I agree with you. What I'm saying to you, we're too far in at this very single moment.
It's going to fall. It's going to fall.
So then everything is going to fall.
It's going to fall.
If that's what you believe, I'm okay with that. But I want that point to be made.
I'm just telling you, it's going to fall.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a second. Here's what Kamala has put out late yesterday on her policies that are affecting Black communities. Now, I want people to be clear, whether we like it or not. Okay, we are not homogenous. Our Black community is not homogenous. Okay, in the diaspora of this situation. We have Black who are African. We have Black who are part of the Latin community. There are Black who are part of the gay community, and so forth.
Well, so there you have it. There you go.
So we have to be. If you want to say pure Black and only Black, that's going to be a different definition. Okay, so I just want to be fair. We have to be acknowledged.
All I'm asking is, what is Kamala Harris? What is Kamala Harris willing to do for foundational Black Americans?
I'm giving it to you now. Okay, here we go. So she wants to push out a criminal justice reform. She wants to support a reform to stop chokeholds nationally, police accountability, ending qualified immunity, sentencing, reducing mandatory minimum sentences, addressing sentencing disparities, supporting programs to rehabilitate, reintegrate formerly incarcerated individuals, targeting Black America. Those are specific words. Second, economic empowerment, small businesses support, which basically through grants and loans. Wealth building, initiative to close the wealth gap, including expanding access to home ownership and affordable housing. Yesterday, she talked about a tax credit overall. More advocate for increased funding for HBCUs, measures to stop loan debt, that disproportionately affects Black borrowers. Again, the John Lewis Voting Rights Amendment Act to support it because they're trying to take it down. Okay, more affordable housing, specifically giving more funding to give Black families homes. Those were so specific things that she put out directly. Those
That's
policies.
specific for Black people. That's specific for Black people. Damn, Ron.
That's specific for Black people now because you need the Black vote.
Okay, so what? Okay, so you're okay.
What I'm saying to you is, for the past 3.5 years,
we're not talking about 3.5 years. We're talking about right now, because right now matters, Ron. Okay, right now. So if you want something right now,
of course you're going to talk this now. Because
all you asked for was a list. You didn't ask for the last 3 years. You said, "What is she doing now?"
Supporting this already because exactly
y'all don't get it.
She was supporting this for the last 3 years with her president.
Brother Stephen.
Respectfully, we're trying to answer your question. So you asked a question, he gave you an answer, and now you're.
When was this posted? When was it posted?
The various websites. The last 48 hours.
Okay. So she answered your question.
She reiterated. Hold on, let me answer some more questions.
Making my point.
Did she? And then hold on.
Okay,
right. Now, but the question was,
Black people are not falling for the banana in the tailpipe anymore.
Hold on.
Because I don't know.
Oh, hold on. But your question was,
it's not a banana in the tailpipe. They were working on all of these reforms with HUD and stuff for the last 3 years, the Biden administration as a whole. So let us not forget she was a part of that administration.
Right. Everything that Biden did, she's a part of.
Honestly,
hold on. The question on the board.
She's a part of the administration.
And I'm okay with that.
Brother Stephen, look, I love you. I love you. I love my sisters. All right. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna continue this conversation. She knows she needs the Black vote. That's why she's pushing this now.
Okay, but hold on. I got you. But let me be fair. The question on the board from you specifically, you said that what are specific now that you want to convince you to vote for her. I gave those things, and then now you're saying, well, she's just been, but now keep in mind, they did not have control of the Senate. The House and the Senate switched when Biden came in. So now they got the Senate, but then they lost the House. So it makes it very difficult. No matter what they do, they need both sides in order to push in, other than a executive order. Then unfortunately, he doesn't have Supreme Court, because Supreme Court is going to overturn any executive order. So that's a problem.
Well, we haven't had a functioning Congress for several years now, a couple of terms.
But did not Biden acknowledge that it was the Black vote that got him elected? Why didn't he have our back?
So in order for these laws to pass, we do have to have a working Congress and Senate. They have to do their job. So let's be fair. So that's not just
that's just not on the years.
But but again, they can't get it passed if the
that's
people,
like the
other
immigration
than
law
order,
that they didn't pass because Trump told them not to vote for it because it would have made Biden look good. So you have to understand those three branches have to work equally together.
I'm trying to get you all to understand.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand what young people are talking about, because I talk to them all the time.
You talk to Black people, you talk to Black women and Black men. You're not the only spokesperson.
What I'm saying is, look, I've got 2 sons and I got a daughter.
Yep, sounds like.
Let me finish, please.
Uh-huh.
I got 2 sons and a daughter. They're educated, they're smart, and they even see it. They see that this is just bullshit.
I hope
that's
not actually an active way to tell somebody something.
With that being said,
so I hope everybody.
I gotta go.
Okay. Got you.
All right.
I thank you very kindly, sir.
All right.
Have a blessed one. Thank you.
Okay. All right. This went on more than what I expected.
The fact of the matter is, the thing I think the problem that I'm having with this whole thing, and you already know me, they don't call me Rosso for a reason. That was just some chauvinistic bullshit. If you don't like a person, I can respect that. Okay, I can respect that. But we always hear whenever a woman, and this is across the board, whenever a woman is trying to do something, we worry about what's between her legs. We worry about how many times she's been on her knees or whatever. The fact of the matter is, we're talking about two choices. That's it. Whether Kamala, she could be pink, purple, green. She could have long hair, short hair. She could be Puerto Rican, Latin. Nobody cares. The fact of the matter, at this day and age, on July 22nd, 2024, we got two choices: Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris. And so my question is, in these United States of America, with the two choices that we have, all of that other stuff, forget it. The two choices do we have. Who is the best candidate for the job? And it will be Kamala Harris. I am very, very sorry. I am very vocal about it. Donald Trump followers are like Jim Jones followers. Please drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, because this is ridiculous. This man is an embarrassment. So we don't have a problem. We black men don't have a problem with him talking about come get the black jobs and these are my black people. Black men don't have a problem with the reason why I'm gonna get your votes because I create these ugly ass sneakers for y'all to buy at $300 a pop. I don't hear nobody talking about that. But as soon as the woman, I don't care what you say, Stephen, the bottom line is if Kamala had a penis, this would not be an issue. We are still living in a chauvinistic, misogynistic society. Bottom line. And every time we keep hearing women can't run the country. Look at all of the women governors that you have. Why the hell do you think these people go to be governor? They elevate. They go from governor, then they start running for Senate or whatever and stuff. I would have voted for Jasmine Crockett. I would have voted. Listen, I would have. It's funny how we got a problem with Kamala Harris, but I remember a bunch of black men saying that they wish Michelle Obama would run. So which is it? Is a woman not ready to run the country, or you just mad at? We go back to the same Jim Crow stereotypes all the time. She ain't black enough. She's not 100% black. That bullshit. Name me a pure black person. Point me out that person in this day and age. I want to see that person. Because when you look at me, I look like a black woman, but I'm 100% American Indian on both sides of the family tree.
Here's what first of all, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Please don't get it twisted. I'm doing due diligence in reading the information that's out there in terms of giving context to everybody's point and say, okay, here's the research. Okay, so you know what's going on. Now, me personally, I don't care about, as far as I can say, it could be Elmo. Hell, I vote for Darth Vader before I vote for Trump. I mean, at the end of the day, now me personally, I have no hatred or anything about Kamala. I think there are people who I do recognize that, and I was a big person against it. Then I got chewed out plenty of times. I did not like the mass number of people that's just. Now, I still say he was a better person. Don't get me wrong. I just wasn't going to go along to say, hey, vote for whatever, because when I looked at what happened in Chicago with the shoreline, the casinos, and the gangsters and all this other stuff, and he didn't vote, he just played present. I wanted somebody to take a stand. And then my issue was,
well, why do we always think that these people got to carry the whole black nation on their back? No. Realistically.
I wasn't that he can do it by himself.
Exactly.
I did not. No, I wasn't going to. I wasn't saying no. I wasn't saying that. I'm talking about just voting on different policy bills in general. So when I brought that up and things, people got mad at me. It's like, oh, you just hated him because it's not you. No, it was never that. I don't care. I don't care. I agree. I've never said anything about it. We gotten so far and messed up in our culture that we focus on who's black enough, who got the better clothes, materialistic and dumb stuff. I care about what is the best for this country going forward. It's definitely not Trump. And my other things, these whole things with the abortions, and all these other things, it's going to go. All we know is that if Trump comes in, it's going to be a problem. And Lord willing, that Kamala does win, there's going to be a big army. Where are we going? Biden and going to have the whole dang army out, because we already know there's an inside job with them not sending out the people and things like that. I do not need. I understand it's the president's call to send out people, or the vice president, whoever. I don't need that. I would go to jail and send out all the troops I got to prevent that happening. It never should have got that far. We know what happened with the Spanish-American War. We know what happened with the American Revolution. We all know what happened with the Black Panthers, civil rights, whatever. None of us had the damn gall to go south the Capitol. That was just the stupid. We may march, but we ain't storming. Okay, if anything, the indigenous people have the right to do that, but they didn't. So now you have a man that's this dangerous that has a cult. So your solution is my thing is this: whether you believe Kamala is right or not, okay, it may be to the point she may not be ready. She may not have the best experience, but she's better than what we have. And I'd rather take that and put somebody else in and give them the support we need by electing the right people to get these votes in. And that's the problem with regardless any of these presidents. The last time we had both sides in was when Clinton was in. And we didn't vote. We didn't do all these other things. And there's two different times now with Gore, not the only time, but of recent years, Gore and Hillary. This country would have been so much better. But we failed as a people, white women and Black people.
Can we just take a moment to step back and just, because I've heard all this conversation about Kamala and her not being qualified. Can we agree and understand that this woman is dynamic and educated and intelligent? You might not like her as a president, but first of all, her track record speaks for itself. If you've never watched her in the Senate, if you've never just heard her speak in her poise, I think we need to stop slandering her, number one.
Oh, I agree with no. I'm not. That's not me. Please, that's not me. I'm just speaking in general that, for those who are against it, if they regardless. First of all, Trump don't want to touch her on the debate stage,
and I want to watch that.
I will watch that in a minute. He's going to get slaughtered. Only thing he's going to do is what he did with Biden, is just keep trying to interrupt and shut his mic off. And that's why they wanted to
interrupt. If you've ever watched her, you can try to interrupt her. She's like Felicia Rashad on the Huxtables. Just go right ahead. I'll watch it.
Right. So I will watch.
I think the Queen just raised a good point that we're tearing somebody down who put in the work. You know what I'm saying? This is we're not talking about they randomly pick some woman off the street to go. This woman put in the work. Yes, okay, let me tell you something. I laugh, and I wanted to say this to Ron. There's people in jobs right now making a sugar load of money that ain't the most qualified for the job. They just happen to luck up and either get it or know somebody. My point is, give the person a chance, and we got to stop falling on this sword about America's not ready for a woman, because we don't know what America is ready for. Okay, everything we didn't think America was ever going to have a Black president in this lifetime, but we was able to all witness that. The bottom line is that we are at 911 emergency, which very short time. We don't have time to be going through all of this picking and choosing or whatever and stuff like that. We got two candidates. They said, you got A and B. This is what A can do. This is what B can do. I'm saying that Trump has already showed us who he is. He had literally destroyed this country in the short time that he was president. He's still lying. He's still orchestrating foolishness. And why is he even on the ballot? Because let's just call it what it is. If Trump was Black, he wouldn't even be on the ballot. Period.
And let's be fair, if Obama had a half a felony,
if he was a Black man, he would never been on the ballot. If Obama had done if Obama had done half of what Trump done, then he would never be on the ballot. This is white privilege at its finest. And so my thing is, why Ron and all of these other men are talking about standing up, then stand up for the Black woman then. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see how that
Let's do that. Because if
And
they
not
can
because
use their
she said she
privilege,
got
why
Asian
can't we?
background. Right.
My issue with all this, and you're right, Tracy. My only reason we're saying about the country of black women because I'm tired of seeing this world. I'm on both. I'm on the other side where I'm tired of seeing the world treat black women wrong, and then
I'm
women
tired
and
of them
women
seeing
period.
treating women wrong. Period. It's okay that we birth nations, but you're insulting me saying that we can't run the United States of America when you really think about it, who you think is running the United States of America anyway?
And how did you get here
Women.
to try to run the state? You had to come through somebody's wound. Let's just be fair.
Hello.
You didn't get here by
Let's be fair.
Most wars started over. Most wars started over women.
That is so chauvinistic.
All right, and we are in that Bible too. So let's be fair. So don't tell us what we cannot do because then we always prove you wrong. That's the problem I have. I don't care what America's ready for. Y'all, okay.
No, I agree.
And maybe maybe, Stephen, Mr. LP, maybe just maybe the time has come for a woman to take the helm to get this thing back on track and get it right.
It should have happened with Shirley.
Because that's what we do.
No, it should have happened ages ago with Schism. I'm sorry. With Shirley, it should have happened back then. I've long said that as a kid. I wasn't alive then, but I was still, when I looked at history and all the things, what was it, Marcos ran, a bunch of women that tried to run for several times. Long should have had. Hell, I would have took Nancy Reagan over before the first Bush.
But just like, she ran it. Nancy ran it, though. Let's be fair. Nancy ran this country.
Well, yeah, the last because the psychologists. I agree. No, I'm not denying all of that. So what my issue is that we have to logically look at you. Just call a spade what it is. If you're voting for Trump, you got three issues. You're just mentally ill. That's just it. Two, there's some type of trauma in your life that you did not, something happened to you that you did not get what you want, or you feel threatened, and you feel that by anybody that's not white, that's going to take away your privilege of getting something. Okay. Now, sidebar to everybody who's think I'm being hateful is not. We're not saying if you're white, you already got money. You just do not face the same things as everybody else do. You do go through things. You've been robbed, you've been shot, you've been raped, all these other things. Yes, bad things happen to you too, but not in the same caliber. And you do not face the same everyday aggressions that Black people do. It's facts. 3, you feel that, and for men, you feel more men will join in with other men over foolishness versus logic because of the fact of men. And then at times women will do it too. And I think that it gets equated to the fact that we just, because of what happened previously, all these women just jumping up and jumping out. Every woman in the world knows that she obviously, she may not be and again, I'm not putting her experience down. Is she as qualified as Hillary? No, but she put into work and things. Could she have had more? Sure. But every person who has any damn common sense is far better than what Trump has no qualifications. Nothing.
But here's what's nice. She'll read her briefs in the morning. She will educate herself. What she does not know, she will go out and find out. Okay? She's resilient.
That's what I'm saying.
She is willing.
That's why I said vote in your precincts and things like that. What gets me is, and I'll say this again, you fart crazy. They gave this man a hard time. What was the last man before the Speaker of the House? He gave him a hard time to get in.
Now they have Johnson.
McCarthy. Right. It was like 20 times before they voted McCarthy in. And then McCarthy, for all the crack that he's did, okay, I have to give the man because I couldn't stand the man, but I give the man all the credit in the world. He came in and said, okay, I'm going to bring some peace. He negotiated bills for the name Wall that he worked with Kamala on and everything else. He helped try to, the spending, all these other things. And he worked with Biden. He sat in the office and they got mad at him and kicked him out for actually not trying to be a crazy Republican. That's how stupid people. I don't understand when they were saying that the Democratic Party looks a mess, but that's only of recent nature. I think the Republican Party still can't get it together. And again, both sides are going on vacation for 7 weeks. They're not even going back home to their local areas to do their jobs in their local districts that they represent. They chilling. And how many people go for 6 or 7 weeks and then chill out? Some already been on vacation, and then they got their assistants or the workers doing the paperwork. They're gone, and then they don't do their job and still get paid.
Well, let me
See,
let me
these are
just
the
put in
things.
this caveat real quick.
That's the things like that we need to focus on.
The other thing
Sorry,
that I think we should notice is that we Democrats or whatever Democrats need to start acting like the Republican Party, because they stand behind that man regardless of what he does. This is not the time to disseminate. We need to be able to just say, hush our mouths and just give out the same rhetoric that they give when they get on Fox. That is the problem that I have. We don't need to be like, we're going to go left, right. If our president says that he wants us to do this, we need to band together just like the RNC. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we need to stop going.
I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we need to stop going to a gunfight with knives. We got to start. We can't go into a gunfight with knives. You got to start cutting that bombs.
That's what we need to do. That we need to be as extreme as they are, because we need November 2024. Period. We need to get as radical and crazy as they do, because we need to stand up for ourselves. It's not just Black people. 2024. This is all people. So have your rights later on and do your state whatever you want to, but you better vote something this November.
We have to make sure that we don't fall into, and this is again where I speak all the time. If you don't teach your history, which they really don't want us to, but it's even more the shame that we have the history, we don't teach it. We fall into the same trap that we did in why it took so long for civil rights to get here in '67. Because we fought so long that, we don't want this person to get the credit. Well, how are they in the know? We saw the videos about the Teamsters and the train and the Lord Jesus. What's the coach? Lord Jesus. What's the gentleman that works for the train? Those union guys. All these things that we see for years, and we were busy fighting. We were busy tipping off the other side. All these other things, and then it should not have happened that way. We could have had these things ahead of time, but we took so long to unify. Then when we got the rights, we didn't go ahead and push with what we could. We did not unify, and then we gave up the goose in the late '70s. This is one of the times of just using Richmond, for example, where Richmond was strong with Black Wall Street trades, everything else. We gave up the goose starting in '77, and that's what in most cities around the nation. And we fell, and now, we have fallen. So now we're circa 50, 60 years later. We're still doing the same as HIT. Arguing over things that don't matter.
I think the other thing too, Mr. LP, is to consider when we start throwing out, well, what has she done for the Black community? Well, let's talk about what Trump has done for the Black community. Let's talk about the Blacks that wasn't allowed to stay in his hotels until a lawsuit was filed. Let's talk about the full page ad that he took out when he wanted the Central Park 5 to be executed, for a crime that they didn't commit. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the young girl that he raped, and they put his trial on hold until he could run for president, and then all of a sudden she disappeared. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about all of the women that was sex trafficked with him and his co-partners or whatever in Epstein. Let's talk about that. So that's why I said when we start throwing out these things, you're throwing out myths or whatever. Now, I've been hearing this. I haven't seen any proof, so if I'm wrong, somebody tell me. All I've been seeing all day long is memes of Carmella with knee pads and on her knees and how she slept her way to the top. I don't know anything about that. That just seems to be the go-to anytime a woman is running for absolutely anything or whatever and stuff like that. So, but we have facts on Trump, fact after fact after fact after fact. What are people paying attention to? Because at the end of the day, it's not about Is she black enough? Is she's a woman? Again, I gotta go back to the Queen put it eloquently. We have two choices before us. Let's make a deal. We got two choices. We see what Project 2025 has gained traction and steam, so much so that people are talking about it on a regular. What is it going to take? Are we going to have to ring the bell like Lawrence Fishburne in School Days? Wake up. We're going to wake up on the day after the election and it'll be like, all you Negroes report back to the plantation. What is it going to take to know that he is not the person that we live in office? I'm comfortable that if we put Kamala in office and she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing, we can have her impeached, get rid of her and get someone else. But right now, we have two choices. Two. That's it. And if we keep playing around with this thing, we are going to be in some serious trouble.
And
here's another thing that we need.
It's going to look like this. Okay, if you know anything about addiction, everybody knows that when you get clean, if you relapse that second time, it gets worse. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. If you vote Trump in here, it's going to be worse. It's going to be like that second rapture. So go ahead. Make some decisions, but you better make a decision that you think about your family, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else. If you don't know, start listening. Listen to Miss Crockett. She's one of my favorite people in Congress. Listen to these people that are in Congress and the things that are going on day to day. Pay attention. They were going to impeach the old Johnson, the very person they put in that position. So listen, we've got a couple of choices. We can talk and have banter all night long. We better know what's going on November the 4th or whatever day Tuesday is in November, period.
I have a question, and this may sound bad coming from this side, and I'm not gaslighting, so please understand. Why is it we don't have enough women checking other women? Now, I know that people won't get mad at me because I'm a man telling a woman what to do, but when men are doing wrong, there's always the questions why men are not checking other men. So I have to be fair on this side. Why are there not enough women checking other women when they sit out there, both black and white, or not going after the Megyn Kellys or just even local women or things like that? Hey, girl, get your butt to vote, get your butt registered, stop passing this stuff.
Well, who says that they aren't?
That was going to ask you, who says that they're not doing that?
Yeah, but who says that they aren't? That's just the assumption. Where I was on the call when they announced that Kamala Harris was going to be put up to be president, I was on that Zoom call or whatever, and women came out in droves. You put out the call and they came. I think that you got to remember, Mr. LP, and this is just a fact. In this country, women are still revered as second-class citizens. Okay,
I agree.
Women about third and fourth. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just not the thing that's popular to talk about.
No, I know, and I get that. My point is that needs, and I'm saying that because it needs to be elevated. We need to elevate and show it and do it professionally and cleanly. Because one, those voices are. I am not. Whether I agree or not, I don't like muted voices. Okay, I'm a person that's constantly trying to mute me. I'm not going to do that to anybody else, agree or not. Second, I'm a big advocate for women's rights and everything else, and I do believe those things need to be stand up. That's why I'm saying that and I know I keep saying this, but as a guy, I find it offensive hearing another woman talk so nasty about another woman that you don't know, don't care. But you just going on with the rhetoric because another white man is telling you to do it or paying you to do it.
I agree about that. So imagine as a black woman listening to a black man talk about another black woman like that. This is why people treat you the way that you allow them to treat you. And it goes back to the conversation that we had a week ago when I said, until we restore this love affair between the black man and the black woman or whatever and stuff, whatever happened to, like, Ron had a good point. We used to stand up for each other regardless if we were right or wrong, just because you was black, and I would check you in the back. I would check you in the back but we
We
always
don't know.
presented a united front. Now we got
Right.
brothers tearing down a woman. She's not black enough for you. Like, seriously? Seriously? But half of them will run out and find somebody her complexion before they go get a dark-skinned chick. Come on now. Like, we going through again. I'm going back to what the Queen said.
What I just
In
said.
November, we got
It's
two
A or B.
choices.
A or B.
A or B.
I
Two
agree.
choices. That's
Right.
it.
Right. That is it. Like all these other different things is just crazy. And you know, it's time for fresh voices, younger voices. First of all, let me be acknowledging. I did not get a lot of comments today, but I know a lot of people have been watching off and on. First and foremost, thank you for this. I know we were saying we were going to do a show tomorrow, but it ended up happening to be today. But
we did that last week too, right?
Yeah, it ended up being that way. But you know, Ms. Walston, you know, as you already know, these things tend to happen.
I'm okay with that.
You know, I'm grateful to everybody that took the time out to listen. I apologize ahead of time as being a moderator and host of this, that if things got out of hand, I apologize. I'll do a better job of arranging this and things. But I'm grateful that all of you have taken the time out to listen. I don't want to drag this on any further because it's getting up close to the 2-hour mark. We can easily make this up for down to 10 hours, but we're not going to do that. You know, they got to get up. Our present queens and kings got to get out there and go to the bank and count the money at 5 a.m. They open up early for them. So, Miss, I'm going to ask before I give my final words, I want to give closing and things, your final thoughts. Miss Walston, let me start with you, Queen.
I just want to say thank you again for having me. I love these conversations. It gives me something to just kind of process when I get offline. And thank you for just giving me, thank you for giving the floor and always being here with this beautiful queen and even Ron, because I love that we can go back and forth. You know, so I just enjoyed my evening. I don't know what else you want me to tell you other than the fact that I'm voting for Kamala and I want everybody else to also. I'm ready for her, whether she's black, green, or purple.
Not a problem. Raw Silk.
I think the Queen said it eloquently best that at the end of the day, it's down to two choices. There's no other area, it's two choices. And we have to vote for what is best, not just for our agenda, but all agenda, and then hold those accountable and speak up on what our agenda is. I am standing with her. Okay, I'm not standing with her because she is black. I'm not standing with her because she's a woman. I'm standing with her because out of the two choices that we have, she is 100% the best choice to move forward. And I have grandchildren that I need to think about. That anybody's in office is going to affect them. So with that, again, I appreciate sharing this platform. I appreciate the difference of opinion. You know, I love Ron, even though sometimes I want to choke life out of him, but I appreciate his honesty and his transparency of who he is. And so with that being said, I thank you again, Mr. LP, for doing this.
Thank you. I want first and foremost, again, thank you, Queens. I owe y'all a lot of alcohol. So I'm going to go from there, start off with that. I want everybody to understand is that you're not just voting for yourselves, you're voting for the decisions that we make don't just affect you, affect other people. And we're not just talking about voting, just life in general. We also have to understand that here in the US, how we operate and live our daily lives and who we talk to are not necessarily, again, homogenous as a diaspora. How things work in Richmond, DC, Florida is not everywhere else. We could talk to a ton of different people. God knows I talk to a lot, but I still have to keep a presence of mind that this does not apply to everybody in the US. Some things we can naturally generalize, but a lot of things we can't. The one thing we can generalize is that we all are hurting. And there's a phrase I've thought about that, you know, it's very difficult to balance a marble on a string. But at the end of the day, everybody got to come to that line. And when that happens, we have to look each other in the eye and much else ourselves in the mirror is that where do we hold ourselves accountable at? Both men, women, black, white, whatever color, there's a level of accountability. Right now, this is a man, a boy imitating a man who's a cult leader. People are glamorizing the energy, the stance, and the braggadocious and all this stuff. These type of things resonate, unfortunately, with a lot of men, especially about, the strength and charge and whatever, but it's just all false bravado. And in our relationships, whether interpersonal relationships or business relationships or friends, sometimes that's attractive to people, but that's not. And we see every single time in relationships and dating and marriages, when people fall for that, what happens. And now we see it what happens again in politically. We see it in sports. We see it in entertainment, other forms of entertainment, everyday career. And we can't fall for it. We cannot let the rhyme that sells the lie. And that's what happens every day when this man speaks. There are too many people are hurting that instead of dealing with the fact that there's a mental health problem here in this country, people rather towards everything else. I get it. There are laws that are passed over for everybody else and not for us. And then we keep missing the mark that is done like this purposely so to keep the division within our groups that are hurting. And as long as that's done, we won't unite. Because even though we all have different issues within our own cultures and races, a lot of them are the same. We talk about this light skin, dark skin mess here and black enough here. God knows, those people who know what goes on in India, in some places where there are still areas in this world that people are still killing babies over how color when they're born or how they treat families. And it's sad. We have to get beyond that, whether you like somebody or not. If we operate like this, God knows what are you doing in your everyday lives, locally, in your families. When we don't like when we have arguments with our siblings and other family members, who ends up hurting? Our children. Because now you can't go over their house or this or that. Regardless, you can't do that. And many of families that we've broken so many families and unities and the bonds overdone this. And we got to let that stuff go. And the only way we're going to improve it politically is also we have to start practice. Not only do we practice this, let things go politically on certain things, we need to practice a better way of life and thinking and the change of mindset within our everyday lives and how we treat each other. Our communities are not monolithic, but they encompass a wide range of interests, priorities, and experiences. That said, again, one of the reasons why I'll give shout out to Marcus Johnson. He says all the time that he misses the back of the day because we were together. And that's, again, what's happening now. We've gotten some of us that they did allow to get ahead, forgot about who you are. And thus we did not live to give a hand up. Some of us are so angry of our positions in life where unfairly that we've given up, and we now pass that same anger and aggression towards our children projected on them, and now they're hurting. We talk about our new generation, but then we're not allowing them to breathe. And there are so many systemic issues in suppression and disenfranchisement and targeted misinformation that's just killing us. At the end of the day, look within your heart. And if you're hurting, don't attack another ethnic group, even if it's somebody within your own race. So just stop attacking each other. Look at the system above. Don't take the low-hanging fruit. We have a man that's dangerous. And again, we're only going to have one chance to get this right. And we joked about it the first time. Some took it seriously, some didn't, about leaving the country or what have you. This man gets in office and you worrying about another $600 check that he hooked you up and things, and you had a business and you were able to save some money on taxes, but you forgot about your community. let this man in, we doomed. We talked about the rapture, and for those who are believers in whatever religion, we talked about the rapture and the coming. We're just increasing the access. When you have the devil sitting there jealous of what this man's accomplished, I mean, really. I bid all of you a good night. Please, we're probably going to continue this weekly. Thank you for following. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at enlivengm@gmail.com. Post on my page, Rawsil, Miss Walston's, whoever, Bryant, everything else. Mr. Ron Bryant, thank you so very much for your time. You did bring up a lot of good points in your passion. And although we've gotten into the crosstalk a little bit too much, I appreciate it because you brought up actual points that we do need to consider and look at. And we want to be fair to everybody. And if anybody else want to join in future conversations, please do. Thank you so very kindly. Hold on with me, ladies, and God bless. Bye-bye.